August attack in Burkina Faso.
To Burkina Faso now, where
Nations with its former colonies.
The country to armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda.
School pupils and villagers run to take cover.
Hello, what's up guys? Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alia Husna. So today I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of information about terrorism across continents that happened in Burkina Faso, New Zealand and Spain. So let's jump into the video. So what is terrorism crisis? A terrorism crisis arises when violent acts like bombings or shootings cause widespread fear, chaos, and disruption. Such events can deeply affect the tourism industry by altering travel plans, reducing tourist numbers, and damaging a country's reputation as a safe destination. Burkina Faso, a landlocked country in West Africa, bordered by Mali, Niger, and other nations, has faced significant challenges due to jihadist terrorism. Once known as Upper Volta before its independence from France in 1960, the country became Burkina Faso in 1984, symbolizing the land of upright people. Known for its savannas and tropical climate, Burkina Faso was a natural tourist destination. However, violence beginning in the mid-2010s, led by extremist groups, has destabilized the country, worsening poverty, particularly in the Sahel region. So what is the pre-crisis assessment of this case? By 2019, Burkina Faso faced a dramatic rise in terrorism-related fatalities, surging from 86 to 593, which is a shocking 590% increase. This alarming escalation was primarily driven by extremist groups such as the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara (ISGS), Jamaat Nasr al-Islam wal Muslimin (JNIM), and Ansar al-Islam. In response, the Burkinabe government introduced decrees to provide compensation for defense forces and public servants affected by terrorism, seeking to strengthen public trust and support for counterterrorism efforts. Additionally, the National Assembly approved a government proposal to recruit civilian volunteers to assist in defending the nation. Let's move to the crisis response. In recent years, terrorist attacks in Burkina Faso have caused nearly 2,000 casualties, prompting the government to launch some of the largest counter-terrorism operations in its history. These efforts have focused on the northern and eastern regions where insurgency is most severe. However, the scale of terrorist activities has continued to surpass the government's initiatives. Despite increased military spending, cabinet reshuffles, and the creation of civilian defense groups known as the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland (VDPs), the response has fallen short. The crisis has escalated into one of the world's most severe humanitarian emergencies, displacing over 2 million people. In May 2023, violence in Congo forced over 35,000 individuals to flee from nearby villages. Public frustration with the government's inability to curb jihadism has also grown, as seen in large demonstrations in June and July 2021. For post-crisis recovery, currently over 40 million people in the Sahel region are at risk of starvation, with Burkina Faso among the hardest hit due to ongoing conflicts driving widespread food insecurity. In response, the European Humanitarian Response Capacity, which is EHRC, has intensified its emergency aid efforts, delivering food and essential supplies to communities in areas with limited access. However, the United Nations reports that some regions have gone months without food supplies as reserves have been completely depleted, forcing the closure of local markets. To address these challenges, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, which is UNHCR, is providing critical support to displaced individuals. This includes assistance with civil documentation, emergency housing, and other urgent needs. These efforts are part of a coordinated strategy involving government agencies, international organizations, and NGOs to ensure displaced communities receive the vital aid they require during this recovery period. So, after hearing the pre-crisis assessment, crisis response, and post-crisis recovery, what are the challenges that Burkina Faso have faced? The nation faces significant challenges to its economic stability and development. The economy heavily depends on agriculture, particularly cotton and gold, making it vulnerable due to its limited range of exports. This reliance, coupled with external threats such as climate change, trade fluctuations, and global economic factors, places Burkina Faso in a precarious position. According to the Minister of Tourism, Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo, efforts are being intensified to promote the tourism sector despite the adverse effects of insecurity. The government, in collaboration with other AES countries, remains committed to addressing peace and security challenges, ensuring that Burkina Faso and the broader Sahel region regain their appeal as attractive destinations for tourists. For successes, despite numerous challenges, the government of Burkina Faso has implemented significant initiatives to stabilize and develop the nation. With support from international organizations like the World Bank, the government has strengthened fiscal management, enhanced social safety nets for vulnerable populations, and prioritized sustainable growth strategies to address the impacts of conflicts and climate-related challenges. In terms of tourism, Burkina Faso's industry generated approximately 1 to 8 million US dollars in 2020, contributing 0.63% to the nation's GDP. By 2021, the country welcomed 106,000 visitors, ranking 170th globally in total tourist numbers. When adjusted for population size, Burkina Faso ranked 138 worldwide and 5th in the Western Africa, providing important context for its tourism performance relative to its population. So, what are the similarities between these three cases? In response to terrorism, the governments of Burkina Faso, New Zealand, and Spain have implemented various reforms and strategic measures to prevent future attacks. Burkina Faso has launched extensive counter-terrorism operations and established civilian militias such as the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, which is VDPs, to combat violence from jihadist factions like JNIM and ISGS. For New Zealand, following the 2019 Christchurch attacks, New Zealand promptly enacted gun reforms to enhance public safety. Meanwhile, Spain has focused on shifting political perspectives, particularly among the youth, and strengthening collaboration within the European Union, as emphasized by Interior Minister Jorge Fernandez Diaz. For differences, terrorism in Burkina Faso, New Zealand, and Spain shares some similarities but differs significantly in methods and impacts on tourism, shaped by distinct security conditions and tourism trends. In Burkina Faso, attacks include ambushes, bombings, and assaults on military and civilian sites, particularly in isolated northern and eastern regions. These safety concerns have severely harmed tourism, with persistent instability remaining a major obstacle despite government efforts to promote the sector. In New Zealand, the 2019 Christchurch shooting targeted mosques and initially caused a decline in tourism, particularly from Muslim-majority nations. However, the country's swift response and strong safety reputation mitigated long-term impacts. Spain has experienced both bombings and shootings, including the 2004 Madrid train bombings and the 2017 Barcelona attack. While these events caused temporary drops in tourism, Spain's well-developed infrastructure and effective safety measures have enabled it to recover quickly, maintaining its status as the leading European tourist destination despite ongoing threats. So, what are the analysis of the effectiveness of these three countries? For Burkina Faso, while military operations have been intensified and civilian militias like VDPs have been mobilized, results remain inconsistent. Operational successes are often overshadowed by human rights concerns and growing divisions within communities. For New Zealand, in response to the Christchurch mosque attacks, New Zealand demonstrated the importance of clear responsibilities in counterterrorism, with both government and citizens playing key roles in fostering safety and inclusiveness. Initiatives like the Crowded Places Strategy were launched, addressing vulnerabilities in public spaces. However, challenges such as public awareness and effective government communication persist. Strengthening public trust through consistent messaging on diversity and inclusivity while adapting to New Zealand's changing and demographics is critical. And for Spain, Spain showcases its crisis management strength through strategic partnerships with global regions, including North Africa, the Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America. By addressing humanitarian crises, Spain reinforces its national resilience while contributing to international stability. This collaborative strategy not only strengthens Spain's internal crisis management capabilities, but also supports global efforts to address shared challenges. So let's move to the long-term impact on these three countries' tourism industry. So Burkina Faso's tourism industry has been severely impacted by political instability and security concerns since 2015. Escalating terrorist activities across the Sahel region have led to a sharp decline in international tourist arrivals, resulting in significant economic losses for businesses such as hotels and transportation services. This downturn has also led to reduced tourism-related investments and stalled infrastructure development, making recovery more difficult. Additionally, climate change has worsened the situation by negatively affecting vital ecotourism attractions such as national parks, diminishing the country's appeal to ecotourists and hindering its recovery efforts. For New Zealand, the government and tourism partners worked to reassure potential visitors by emphasizing the country's commitment to diversity and safety. Over time, focused marketing campaigns and increased security at popular tourist spots helped restore New Zealand's reputation as a safe and welcoming destination. While there were short-term challenges, these efforts ultimately strengthened the industry's resilience and helped rebuild trust in the tourism sector. And for the last one, for Spain, Spain's tourism industry was significantly affected by the 2004 Madrid train bombings, which caused a dramatic drop in tourists. So, in response, Spain ramped up security at major tourist destinations and launched campaigns to highlight its commitment to safety and hospitality. Over time, through consistent efforts and security enhancements, Spain's tourism sector successfully recovered. For recommendations, let's talk for three recommendations for these three countries generally. For pre-crisis readiness, to effectively combat terrorism, Burkina Faso, New Zealand, and Spain need to enhance their pre-crisis readiness by improving intelligence sharing both domestically and internationally. Governments should focus on modernizing surveillance systems, implementing the radicalization initiatives, and strengthening regional and global partnerships for better knowledge and exchange. Public awareness campaigns are also crucial to inform citizens about potential risk, promoting vigilance and encouraging the quick reporting of suspicious behavior. For the second point about crisis response, during a crisis, governments must adapt their response strategies to minimize harm and protect lives. Collaboration between security agencies, emergency services, and healthcare providers is essential, along with transparent communication to combat misinformation and maintain public trust. Additionally, providing psychological support to victims and first responders will address the long-term mental health effects. And for the last one, for post-crisis recovery recommendation, post-crisis recovery should focus on rebuilding public confidence, supporting victims, and stabilizing the economy, particularly in the tourism sector. Governments should establish funds to offer financial assistance and mental health services to victims, to revive tourism, improving security protocols, launching international marketing campaigns, and collaborating with global partners are key strategies. Engaging communities in discussions and reconciliation efforts will help heal social divides and promote unity. To sum up, terrorism is a global challenge that demands collective and dynamic approaches to safeguard societies and promote resilience. The experiences of Burkina Faso, New Zealand, and Spain, while marked by the threat of violence, underscore the need for the violence-specific countermeasures tailored for each country's vulnerabilities. Collectively, this example stress the need for a balanced approach between prevention, crisis management, and recovery. Proactive measures such as intelligence sharing, community engagement, and international alliances are vital to reduce threats. By integrating these strategies, countries can effectively protect their populations, promoting resilience and recovery in a post-terrorism environment. So that's all from me. I hope that you guys enjoy my video and get the information that I have shared about the terrorism that happened in Burkina Faso, New Zealand, and Spain. And I'll end this video by Assalamualaikum and goodbye.